What's up everyone, it's Mr. Mixup here and welcome back to another video, and this is another episode of SpursChat. And today we have the North London Derby, Spurs women away versus Chelsea women, Larissa's statement, something that Laris said, a possible Eriksen-Dybala swap in January, Lamela looking forward to Spurs' busy September schedule, and an under-21 Irishman rising to the occasion. Of course, he's a Spurs player, so and possibly a next superstar to arise from the youth of Spurs. Moving on to our first story. First thing we'll have to talk about, of course, the North London Derby. It ended 2-2 at the Emirates. Of course, Spurs were away. So here's what happened. In Spurs' tactics, from what I saw, it was basically like what Spurs did versus Man City. They led the other team attack. They had the other team. They let them have the majority of the possession, but they try to stay tight in defense. And of course, that strategy doesn't always work. But that was Spurs' strategy. They stay tight in defense. They let the other team attack and have the majority of the possession. But then when they captured the ball from defense, they would try to counter it as fast as they can, which is a good strategy, but it doesn't always work. So, goals. Here's how it started. Leno failed to catch the ball, slipped, and Eriksen capitalized on the opportunity and scored 1-0 for Spurs. Then Arsenal gave off the penalty to Harry Kane. And Harry Kane, of course, banged it in, 2-0 to Spurs. But just before halftime, Arsenal got another one, and it was 2-1 at halftime. Arsenal were attacking in the second half, more than what they were doing in the first half. And then Arsenal got the equalizer, 2-2. And it looked like it was going to be a comeback for Arsenal, because then they scored the third, but then VAR got involved. And it's not because I'm a Spurs fan, but the Arsenal player's arm, it was offside in my opinion. So I think it's a fair 2-2 draw, and both Arsenal and Spurs get 1 point each. Moving on to Spurs' women team going away to Chelsea women, and they lost 1-0, which is an unfortunate loss, but it's the first match day of the women's season, so they can't worry too much. They can't start worrying from now. It's only the first match day, but Spurs were away to Chelsea women at Stamford Bridge. Of course, they were away. And they lost 1-0, and it was an amazing goal by Chelsea, so congrats to them. But Spurs women, keep marching on. As the Spurs go marching on. It's the first match day, and they can't worry too much. Moving on to something that Hugo Lloris has said. Hugo Lloris has actually said that Spurs have something missing when it comes to competing against the top two of English football, which are Man City and Liverpool. In my opinion, that is majorly true. A lot of fans would agree with that, but it does decrease the morale of the Spurs team quite a bit, because like Harry Kane has said that Spurs can win the Premier League. Pep Guardiola has said that we're contenders for the Premier League title, and that boosts the morale. Then you see Lloris, and he said that we have something missing, and that just brings the morale and the Spurs players down, and low morale means less good performances, and that means, less chance of winning the title. So I majorly agree with what Lloris said, although we have a very good team. But this statement does bring a lot of Spurs players' morale down. I would say that, that's my final opinion. It does bring Spurs' players' morale down, but it's a majorly agreeable statement. Moving on to a possible Eriksen-Dybala swap in January. And now, in my opinion, I don't know in Juve's opinion, Juve fans' opinion, but in my opinion, as a Spurs fan, I think it's a win for all four sides, because Eriksen wants to leave Spurs. Tottenham, Spurs, they want Dybala badly. Juve, they want Eriksen badly. And Dybala, he wants to leave Spurs, Juve, because he's getting involved less and less in Juventus' team. So I think it's a win-win for all sides of this transfer, and I think an Eriksen Dybala swap deal will be perfect. Absolutely perfect. It's a win-win, and it's better than if we would have gotten Eriksen would have left on a free next summer. Moving on, Eric Lamela, looking forward to Spurs' busy September schedule. So in September, Spurs have 3 games in the Premier League: tomorrow against Palace, against Leicester City, and against Southampton. They have their first UCL group stage match against Olympiacos, and they have a Carabao Cup match against League 2 side Colchester United. I may think that Colchester United are not that good of a team, and they're in League 2, but 3 Premier League games, a UCL game, and a Carabao Cup game amounts to 5 games in 1 month, and that's definitely a busy schedule. And Eric Lamela is reportedly looking forward, and I can see why, because he could shine and he could do great things for the team. But a busy schedule is a busy schedule, so Spurs need to keep working hard if they want to get good results. This month could be crucial. Moving on to an under-21 Irishman, Tony Parrott performs brilliantly for Ireland's under-21, scoring a hat-trick when they won 3-1 against the Sweden under-21s and scoring a goal versus Armenia's under-21s. So, Tony Parrott has performed brilliantly. So what we're trying to say here is that Spurs' youth system has produced superstars like Harry Kane and Harry Winks, and Tony Parrott may be the next youth prospect to look out for, because in the future he may be Spurs' next superstar to rise from the youth. Moving on, we got a bonus. Next match for Spurs men. Their next fixture is at home at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, which is, in my opinion, should be renamed to White Hart Lane. But I have no control over that, of course. It's just my opinion. Their next match, their next match is at home, like I said, against Crystal Palace, and that is tomorrow. I am looking forward to that. North London side versus South London side, and in my opinion, Spurs can definitely win. I mean, they have already lost against better sides at their own home, Newcastle United, of course. But I think they can win against Crystal Palace. I mean, Crystal Palace can shock them. They have talents like Wilfred Zaha, but I think Spurs can win it. Next women's match is also going to be at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, so the women are going to be at home as well, and they're going to face Liverpool women, which you may think that they're going to lose definitely, because they lost 1-0 away to Chelsea. But next match for Spurs women at home is going to be against Liverpool, and Liverpool, in their first match day, they lost against Reading women. So I think it's going to be a pretty even, balanced match between the Spurs women and the Liverpool women, but the only difference is that Spurs are going to be at home. So I think they're going to have the slight advantage thanks to that. Now moving on to Pochettino saying that Eriksen is quote-unquote happy at Spurs, so we will see where it goes. He's definitely going to leave the summer, definitely. I don't think he's going to renew his contract. If Spurs don't win another trophy, he's not going to renew his contract unless Spurs win a trophy, so he's definitely going to leave the summer, but Pochettino says that Eriksen is happy for now at Spurs, and I think the best deal for Spurs would be an Eriksen Dybala swap, because we don't want him to leave for free in the summer. So yeah, best deal possible for Spurs, in my opinion, is an Eriksen Dybala swap in January, because in my opinion it would benefit all sides. So everyone, thank you for watching the video. Thank you for all the subscribers. And of course, if you're new, make sure to subscribe and also tap that notification bell so you get notified every time I upload. So yeah, this was another video, another episode of SpursChat. We'll see you in another episode of SpursChat, or maybe in another video. I hope you enjoyed this video again. Thank you for watching. Peace out.